Yeah, junk. All right, so Pins has got earnings out. This one's going to be super tricky. I'll tell you why. It's a thick stock, and it's already up 30 points. If anybody remembers the last earnings on Pin when we played, does anybody remember this? This was this particular day. Like, we sat around in this, like, cockfest chop zone for... We sat around in this chop fest forever. We sat around this chop fest forever. I mean, it was nasty. Now, when you get a thick stock like this, like, is it going to have any follow through? I just don't know. We'll watch it. Like, it's on the list. Obviously, it's a hot stock. It's a big name stock, but this is not like it's a thick stock. If anybody's ever traded Pins, it trades like kind of like AMD, where it's just like it takes a lot to get it juiced up. One thing with Pins I've noticed is that it trades a lot better. It trades a lot better when you have like a big pullback on it than, you know, when it just sits and tries to break out. We tried a range break on this, like the last time it did earnings. We tried a range break on it like 3 times. It got smoked on every single one. Now this OSTK, I could get behind. So you got a break over multiple MAs here. You got a probably pretty tiny float on this bad boy. And you got, you know, a range break setting up here. But frankly, there's no resistance. As long as it can stay over this 50 SMA, there's no resistance on this one till 86, 87. Like that. And we also know this one moves pretty well, right? So, you know, like if this stock is up 20, 30%, its float is low enough that you can really get going. I like it. Top of the list. TPR. I think that the float info is probably wrong, though. TPR. You know what? Frankly, Tapestry, huh? Never heard of it. This is more of a retail stock, but the trend on this has actually been legit. Like, I don't know if it's going to have any liquidity. So far, it's just got 100K in volume. But frankly, you know, I'd add that for now. These kind of like random earnings plays, like where you think they wouldn't be that hot, you know, they can turn hot. Like if you look at like Tupperware yesterday, right? You had like this big monster trend on it, you know, after the initial dip. Like you would not think Tupperware can move like that. And then all of a sudden, right, it just starts to cook. All right, junk. You can see this. Everything's moving today. Hey, this RLGY, this could be another one. If you like a little bit of a small cap stock, I'd set an alert if it gets over this 1150 area. That one's got a nice... Kate Grabowski! What? First post in the chat room in months. Welcome back. Good. I'd set an alert here at 1150. If it's got enough liquidity, look, it's not really trading much yet. If it's got enough liquidity, that thing can shred. All right, Twatter. So Twatter's going up. Twatter's got earnings and stuff too. Now Twatter's a little bit of a thicker stock. Like it never moves right. That's never my personal. Now Penn's got earnings out. The problem with Penn is that, you know, you've got multiple levels of resistance here, but you still have a little bit of room. Now, a couple things about Penn is, you know, we've had a lot of success, number one, trading Penn over the years. You know, over this last year. It's like this is, I'm going to put this on the list, but this is not a huge priority just due to the fact of the location of it. you could have. It's a lot easier when they like bust out the all-time highs. When you get a stock that has like earnings out or something like that. Hey, Bobby, what's up, baby? When you get a stock that busts out to like all-time highs, you get a lot easier. Of a range that settles. So what I mean by that is like when you see like something like, when you see something like Snap have its earnings come out, right, and you're busting out to a level where there's no level of supply overhead, then the stock can move a lot cleaner than, if you have something where, like, okay, you got it and the earnings look okay and, you got pre-market volume and all the other things you might check off, but you got this level of supply overhead, they can get knocked down really, really quickly. So that one, I'm going to put it on the list because we have a history of making money on it, but I don't, not necessarily a huge priority. Inox. Man, this one's been a tricky trader. Let me come back to that. I'm going to add that. I think we're going to take that off. I need to see what's up on that one first. Chunk. Let's see what we got on the downside here. Junk. So it looked like this NFE is getting smoked out on earnings, but it's a utility company. Like utility companies just don't trade that well. So I probably leave that bad boy alone. eBay, junk. TDOC. It's like TDOC's getting busted down. They reported last night, but see like how you just got too much support underneath? If you have something like that and they just got support underneath, they end up kind of farting around here. The only interest would be if it like actually started to reverse. Let's see what FSLY's doing. So FSLY did report. They're up about 2%, so not much of a reaction on it so far. Couple things on FSLY to just be mindful of. It is sitting on like this huge level here. It's sitting on this huge level here. They reported earnings having initial net loss, blah, 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 increasing revenue, blah, blah, blah. None of that really matters so much. You do have a support level to kind of, if you look at it hourly, right, just kind of keep a level down here. This is your hourly chart. It's probably be a little bit better to see on a 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart's so cryptocurrency though, right? Right, Jordan? Now see, if you see here, you got this big support here. So this is the level to kind of play off. If it starts to boost its way up, then you know, like, okay, this is the line in the sand and it's ready to go. I wouldn't say that's a huge priority just because of the location of it. I mean, it is due for a bounce. As they kind of pre-announced their earnings over here. That's why it got cut in half. So like it very well could get some traction. All right, now let's talk about just the general market, what our game plan is. You got a 0.63% gap up, on the market. That's pretty good. That's fine. Now the market has been fading off strength like pretty much every day for a little bit of time. So like if you see here, like you had opening morning strength and it got faded off. You got opening morning strength, it got faded off. Opening morning strength, it got faded off. So we're in like this very, very kind of weird spot where we're a little bit oversold now. We've come back a ways, but the price action has just been so shitty that all strength has been faded off. So I think kind of our sweet spots are going to have to be like, we're going to have to trade around, man, this is going to be tough because the range is very tight. We'll have to trade around yesterday's range, meaning that there was a lid on the market around 275 on the QQQs, and there was the low of yesterday was about 271. So that's where we got to trade around. Meaning, if we start to thrust through and we break over 275, we're going to probably get a nice little thrust in the market. At that point, you're going to have some good bounce plays. Like Roku looks like a nice little bounce play. You got, some nice stocks on watch. Like this NIO looks like an imminent breakout is coming. Watch this 29 area. If it busts over 29, I mean, all hell can break loose on this one. Like that one looks really good. Roku's on a ton of support. You've got yourself, some good looking stocks. Like even U is still ready to break out. If you look at its kind of daily chart over here. And then the one I've been eyeballing, for like weeks now is this JD. These Chinese companies, like the ones that do like the WeChats and the He Hats and, all that kind of stuff. I mean, they're starting to fly around. Like, I definitely keep an eye on that one. Everybody's been asked about solars. What do we do with solars? It's inconclusive right now. Obviously, FSLR had its earnings out today. So that, out of all the solars, there's two that, we play really well. If JKS gets over the 90 in May, we can re-long. I think, FSLR, we'll see if this thing can kind of hold this 90 support. If it can hold the bottom of the breakout bar, then it's got a chance, right? If it doesn't hold, then it's probably going to fill back its gap and, come back all the way. Mr. Podell, what's up, baby? Shop looks okay. It's got earnings out too, but you're going to have to wait and see if it does an ORB at the open. Fiverr, man. Fiverr been a nice ad yesterday, It doesn't have that much liquidity that, I had it on my scan, but it just doesn't have, it just doesn't have any liquidity. It's really hard to trade. Yeah, okay, so pins. I think OSTK might be our play. TPR is still pretty good. I keep NNOX on the list too. What are we missing? Hey, Will, how are you? What's up, brother? So, spot is tricky. Number one, it doesn't have much liquidity. Like, there's always a spread on it, Will. And then, it's kind of gapping down into the supports. I think, like, those kind of earnings plays, at least for me personally, they always get me in a little bit of trouble. They always get me in a little bit of trouble. Hey, you can keep Beaky on the list. This is a beautiful looking stock still. I would definitely keep Beaky on the list. The range on it's hot. I mean, frankly, we've made money on Beaky for a long time. Yeah, it's hot. Marco, you're such a Debbie Downer. Let the man shine. If he wants to play Beaky, let the man shine. Is it facts? Facts in your head. Alright, that's the list. I'm sticking to it. Faves out of these, I think OSTK. I mean, these are all okay. Pins on only a big pullback, all right? Pins on only a big pullback. Hey, something to be mindful of on the price action. You can see these big cap techs have been getting faded off every day. So you got to be a little bit careful. This Snapchat may bust loose here over highs just based on pins. And also the chart's pretty strong. So like it's just something kind of to keep a mind of too. I mean, we're gonna have some fun today, that's for sure. Pins and all right. That's the list I'm sticking to it. We'll see on Innox. I didn't see any news on it, but it is just popping up out of nowhere, and it is an old friend of ours. This Nio is very beautiful. It's fantastic. It's great, people. All right, that's the list. I'm sticking to it.